Thank you very much for joining me today. Just for our audience, I'd like to introduce Danny DeBose from Mid-Georgia Electric. They're out of Macomb, Georgia. Correct, Danny?
Macon. Rhymes with
Macon,
bacon.
Georgia. Yeah, I apologize about that.
That's okay.
His business focuses on the electrical services in the industrial space for his large customers in his area. And I think we've been working together now for almost 5 years. So I actually went and looked, we have a internal way to track customers' activity, and I couldn't see everything. It was on multiple pages, just the number of projects we've done together. But would you tell us a little bit about your business so the audience can hear about you?
Okay. Well, we are an electrical service contractor. We specialize in industrial services, whether it's manufacturing or mining. We even have been involved to a pretty good extent with data centers, which is all of a sudden the rage now. And the point that we have in there, the part that we have in there that we play in there, the role is critical power, generators and uninterruptible power systems, UPSs, things like that. But one thing, I'll just stick with the data center part right now. When you and I were young, it was data. Now it's data. Anyway, but we've addressed the fact that LED lighting, all the things it does, among all the things it does, which are all positive, is it's a big energy saver. Well, it's not just an energy saver for consumption, for power consumption for the fixture. They also give off much less heat. So one of the big problems, one of the big issues in a data center with all that computer equipment and everything is the heat generated by those servers themselves and the storage devices and everything like that. They give off a tremendous amount of heat. In fact, just about for every kilowatt that you bring in of power consumption, you have to bring in a kilowatt of air conditioning, just to give you an idea. And that's massive. Well, at least with LED lighting, you're saving some of that energy, that heat. So you don't have to have quite as much air conditioning in those rooms. But it's the same thing in an office space. In an office space where you had fluorescent lighting, and fluorescent lighting got better over the years about how much heat they gave off. And of course, fluorescent was a big breakthrough over incandescents as far as giving off heat. I think incandescents were like 95% of the energy they consumed were dissipated as heat. The other 5% was the light that it actually gave off. And, fluorescent was a big improvement over that, but LEDs have just blown all that away. And so if you have a huge office and you change out your fluorescents to LEDs, your air conditioning bill goes way down.
Yeah, we've noticed that too. A lot of our customers have talked about that.
Yeah. And there are some big customers that we have. And again, we're back to industrial. So let's go to a brewery where we do a lot of work, have done a lot of work. And so they have more high bay lighting and flood lighting indoors, right? But when we would change out in big areas, the area might have 1,000 or 2,000 fixtures, and that's just one area of the plant of the brewery. So we would do an ROI calculating sheet for going to LED from an HID, high intensity discharge fixture. Well, with an HID fixture, whether you're talking about high pressure sodium or metal halide or anything like that, of course, you have a ballast in there. You have a lamp life, which is 18,000 hours ish. And then you have a ballast that drives that, of course. Well, the lamp has to be replaced after 18,000 hours. If you're running it 24 hours a day, that goes by rather quickly. It's just a few years. And then the ballast typically has to be replaced every 5 years or so, okay, maybe 10. And we would give them, when we calculate an ROI sheet, we would calculate 10 years of replacing all those ballasts over a 10-year period. Well, LED eliminates all that. And so it's not just the savings in energy, it's also the savings in maintenance. Because when you're buying a new ballast a $300 ballast for one 1,000-watt fixture, and then you're paying your maintenance guys $200 to change it out.
right.
You have to factor that in,
And you
and
can't even get the ballasts anymore if you
that's
can. They're
right.
so
That's right.
expensive.
That's right. And
Or the
it's so
bolts.
expensive. Yes. And so all of that factors in. And so it has just made LEDs. It's crazy not to do it. Most of these in these industrial environments, we typically had a 3 year or less return on investment on something that was warranted for 5 years or even 10 years, and certainly lasts that long. We've proven that, it's just you
Yeah,
can't
because
beat
as
it. You
we had
can't beat it.
talked, I mean, you've probably had 50, 60 orders. You've never had a failure that you probably had one. I mean,
No,
it
we haven't
happens,
had one. You stop there. We have not had a failure. We
which is
haven't even
the
gotten
LED technology is so reliable.
right. It is, and we haven't even gotten one that didn't work. Or part of it didn't work. We've put in some for under for signage for some of our customers, and where you used to have fluorescents back behind the sign, now they have LEDs and they have LED drivers. We didn't purchase those. It was just something we hooked up for them and everything like that, and they weren't even your brand, but they might have had a bad driver here, so part of the sign didn't work, something like that. But your product, we've never even had one that didn't work out of the box, and they all still work.
Yeah, and we've really strived because again, we've been in business since 2009, making sure we're using the highest quality drivers, the highest quality LED. We're testing, and the technology's gone from, I think we talked earlier, 60, 70 lumens per watt up to 200 lumen per watt now in some of
Exactly,
our products.
exactly.
And
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 and that's
heat though, we
amazing.
have found, yeah, and heat though is the biggest enemy of LEDs though, like anything. And so we've begun in a lot of our industrial spaces offering HVLS fans
Right,
because
right.
the problem is heat goes up and it all sits up there. So the
That's
fans
exactly
move
right.
that around.
That's
And I
exactly
know
right.
you've done that in your business
Yeah, and
too.
we install those too. We do. And
You
but
install everything.
we do. And that's like, like you're saying about the lumens per watt. So right now we just ordered a few fixtures from Charlie. Um, the the 120-volt version of that fixture, which is a 1,000-watt equivalent, um, and it's a 400-watt actual consumption now. I really don't buy the 1,000-watt equivalent, by the way, because it's much brighter than a
Well, that's
1,000-watt
because of the color
HID.
temperature too.
That's right. That's right. I understand. But when you're getting 51,000 lumens out of a LED fixture, that at 120 volts draws 1 amp.
Yeah, it's
One
incredible, isn't
amp.
it?
So we don't go all the way. We put 10 to 12 on 120 amp circuit. You know, and we don't go all the way up to 15 or 18 or whatever we could. But still, 1 amp on a 120-volt circuit, you can't beat it. Then you get into the 480, and it's hardly anything, because we do a lot of 480-volt stuff
I think it's
where
like
we're
a 0.25 amps or zero
that's right.
point
It
0.3
is. It
amps. I
is.
mean, it's
That's
incredible.
right. And where there's only 480-volt available in that area, because you might be on the same project and you're using 120 here, 277 there, 480 there. But it makes a big difference having it available.
Have you found for new installations, people wanna continue to use 480 because of the reduced cost in the wiring?
Yes. Yes, there's no doubt about that. We don't I shouldn't say that. We don't even ask them. We tell them. Because and we tell them why, and because there's very little difference in the cost of the fixture, if any.
It's a little bit, yeah. I mean, we have it it's just you probably have less options, but again, the options we offer that are high voltage are our best fixtures, so
That's right. That's right. But no, we've been and there have been skeptics about the stability, the sturdiness of your fixtures and everything like that. And one of the reasons they're so skeptical is because of the price. If they're that cheap, they ain't no good.
yeah, and that is the truth because we do a lot of explosion proof, and you know what we sell for $1,000, a lot of the old traditional vendors sell for 2 or $3,000.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know. And these ones on this, there's one job. It's funny that you caught me. Because see, I'm a project manager. I'm the project manager, and this project that we're doing still right now in South Carolina, for our biggest customer, but it's a chip mill, as we talked about before, but it's a huge industrial complex, mostly outdoors. And a chip mill, if anything electrical can be ruined, can be torn up, it's at a chip mill because they vibrate it's almost like an earthquake. They vibrate so massive equipment, everything like that. Well, so you have lights above their chipper attached to the chipper building and everything like that. And we put those fixtures up. This is the 400-watt floodlights, so it has
The
two.
IMF floodlights,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And then we put the UFOs inside over the chipper. First thing that happened when they came in there and saw the UFOs just temporarily lighted up in above the chipper, um, some of the maintenance guys walked in and went like this,
Oh yeah.
and they said, "This is great." And I said, "We know, that's why we came in with your product." But outside, where they really have to look up the log line, down the log line, and everything like that, because it's such an intense and massive project, they love the fixture. So it really just.
The other thing we found in those sites where you've got that heavy duty equipment is that we really highly recommend our customers put in extra surge protection
Oh,
on the
absolutely.
panel
Right.
because as that equipment goes up and down, it affects all the other little peripherals like
Oh,
lights
absolutely.
that are on the line. And
Right. That's right.
and it doesn't kill it right away, but over time it just reduces the life of the driver.
Exactly. So yeah, but we've been very happy, but it's good for us to see our customer that happy with your product.
Well, that's great. Now, what is if I were to define your territory where you guys provide your services, what is it?
We, of course, we're in Macon, Georgia. We're in the middle of Georgia. Okay. We try to stay home. Um, but this one customer especially, we'll follow them anywhere they want us. So they even have a mill up in Maine. They have a couple in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, the whole Southeast basically, and then all the way out to Oklahoma and everything like that. So if they want us in any of those facilities, we're there. But typically, again, we're with our customers. We had a customer one time, we did a job for them here right in middle Georgia, and then they wanted the same job done out in Utah. So we went to Utah and took our four wheelers and everything with us out there.
That's great. So Danny, if someone wants to contact Mid Georgia Electric because they're a large industrial customer, how would they contact you guys?
Well, we just have our website is www.midgael.com. So mid GA for Georgia, EL for electrical.com. And that's our website, and we can be contacted through the website.
Right, good. So for all our people that are watching this, Danny and his team are a great organization. They do full service for industrial applications, everything as he mentioned, everything in a facility. So feel free to reach out to him. And Danny, I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk about your business in the industry, which is continuing to change. And and we look forward to working with you for many more years.
Well, appreciate that. And I just have to say, we talked about Charlie specifically, our account rep, and he's the best. He's very responsive, and just we get great deals from y'all. We get a better price because of the volume that we buy. We get a better price than what's advertised, and uh, the price that's advertised is great if you ask me. So, but it's all been good. But again, we've never had an issue, so I've never had to call him back with an issue. And but the turnaround from the time I authorize the purchase to the time we actually have the product is rarely longer than a week. I'm talking about from the time I say send it to the time it arrives. It's rarely longer than a week. And in fact, I can't even think of it ever being longer than a week.
Well, we've got about 10 of Charlie's here, and Charlie's one of our lead salesmen. So I'll let him know you passed on the compliment.
Well, I appreciate that. He's great to work with, and your company makes a great product at a great price. Why would I look anywhere else? That's the truth.
Well, if you ever need anything does come up that you need to escalate, feel free to give me a call too.
I sure will, and I really appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to
Yes, sir. Thank you.
have a great day, everyone. And hey, again, if you have any questions, you can go to our website, about our products. And you can also contact Danny and his team at their website as he indicated. So have a great day.
That's right. You too.